Hello everyone, this is Whistle Brony here, and today is an update video for you guys because I'm going to let you guys know about what's been going on lately, and it's been about a week since I've last uploaded a video, so I'm going to let you guys know about what's been going on and what's been happening because I might need your guys' help about my computer here because it's broken. Well, I take that back. It's not broken, it's just outdated, that's all, because oh man, I've been trying literally for this whole week to get it to, function and work, and it's just one thing after another. So, anyway, a quick mention real quick. I'm going to tell you guys a story real quick about what's been going on lately, and I'm just going to keep using this computer from now on until I can get my desktop to work because, I don't know. Like I said, it's not broken or anything, it's just outdated, and I don't feel comfortable using a computer that's outdated. It's not extremely outdated, like 6 years or whatever, but it is like a year or two outdated. So anyway, it kind of all started last week when I was trying to get Windows 10, not trying to get Windows 10, but I was just leaving things as they were, cause how this all actually started was like freaking 6 months ago, and it's been over 6 months since I've actually used my desktop tower, but been about half a year since I've been kind of using it as a routine like I usually like to, but anyway, it all kind of started for some reason when I wanted to make my computer better, and I thought it would be a good idea to delete some important files in my computer for some reason, and then things kind of dumbed out. So anyway, eventually the coworker that I paid for and got him help to fix my computer, he went over and just kind of installed Windows 8, and since he didn't want to just add a random account for me or didn't want to hack into my Microsoft account, he just kind of handed it over to me, and he let me know that you will have to make an account or sign up to Microsoft or whatever to finish up all the adjustments and everything. And so I was like, okay, so I went ahead, I plugged it in, I just plugged in the basics, I just plugged in the monitor display and everything, and I just connected the USB cord with the mouse and keyboard to my computer, and I just kept it simple as that. I didn't connect to any of my microphone or speakers or the webcam. No, I just did the monitor display and the mouse and keyboard, and that's all I really did because I just wanted to keep it basic. So I just just plugged that in in case anything was going wrong. So anyway, I finished up the final adjustments and everything. It said we're going to get you set up and ready. Went ahead, logged into my Microsoft account and everything booted up, loaded and everything. And I just wanted to keep things at basic at the moment because I didn't want to install anything. Because even though 90% of my things that are, perfectly safe and don't really do any harm, I just wanted to keep it as basics and didn't want to, mess anything up, especially since it was like about 4 months since I've had it. So I just decided just to install Steam, install Chrome because I'm not going to use Internet Explorer because I hate Internet Explorer. But anyway, so I just installed Chrome, installed Steam, and I just installed one game just to see how it would go. And I did a big one called Grand Theft Auto 5, which you all probably know. I installed that, and I was just going to kind of, make sure just to see how it would run. And all of a sudden, it crashed. And thinking, okay, maybe the adjustments is maybe too high. So I lowered the settings, to minimum, or at least to very low as I can go. And it still crashed. So I went to the lowest possible, even the resolution, I don't know how to say it, but the Windows display, how you can make it bigger or smaller, I went to 800 x 6 650, something like that, instead of the usual 600 and 600x720 or 1920x1080. You know what I mean, the resolution or whatever. Anyway, and so I went to the lowest possible, and it still crashed. I'm like thinking, okay, maybe it's overheating or something. So I went to Task Manager to see if anything was running. Nothing was running really much. So I just kind of decided to not play the game at all. Just not really play any game, but just to, go and see, how long could I actually. Is it the game that's running here? What's the issue? And so I went to, I watched a couple YouTube videos just to see what would happen. And eventually over time, at some point, it did crash. Like, okay, so I immediately, opened the cupboard here, down here, that's actually underneath me, because there's a door here, and literally my PC is right underneath me here. But anyway, so I went over, I checked, and I put my hand over where my power supply is at. And it felt fine. It didn't overheat or anything. And so I went over and I checked the graphics card underneath, around the back of it where you plug in the HDMI cables and everything. And that wasn't overheating at all. So I was thinking, okay then. So I tried again, just to play a game and kind of see if anything, maybe it was some glitch. And it still crashed eventually. So eventually I just took it out. I unplugged all. I unplugged all the displays. I set my monitor, on my bed or whatever. I unscrewed and removed the side, table of it or whatever. And I looked inside my computer to see if anything was out of place, maybe if there was dust or anything, and it looked fine. But still, I got the vacuum just in case, to see if anything was dusty. I vacuumed the whole inside, still being very careful, not touching the motherboard or anything. And I kind of looked around and I was like, okay, maybe that should do it. And I cleaned out the fan, both of my fans and our end down and everything. I cleaned out everything I possibly could. Even though it wasn't dusty at all, probably there wasn't dust at all, ever, I still was just doing it, just in case to see if there was anything. And it was still crashing after that. So I unplugged it and I just plugged the power supply in. No displays or USBs or anything. I just got the power supply and I just turned it on basic, and with the side still off, just to see. I looked to see if any lights or anything was out of place. Nothing was out of place except the side fan that was connected to the side of it. It wasn't running, so it wasn't going. So it's okay, so I checked the wire that was connected to it and I connected in a little bit. I also turned it off and pushed in all the wires that were connected to my motherboard, my graphics card, just to see if maybe, it was a bit out of place. And I just not really connected, but I pushed in a little bit, nearly every single one, just to make sure that everything was fully connected in, that nothing was just a bit out of place or in case that was the cause of the crash. And I noticed that my fan still wasn't running, so I disconnected it from one wire and put another wire into it, and it was running eventually. Eventually I got it to spin, so I was thinking, okay, so maybe it was probably overheating or something. So I put it back in, and even though the fan was running, it still crashed. So I'm okay, maybe there is something more of a problem, because like I said, I checked the power supply, that wasn't overheating. I looked at the graphics card, and it wasn't overheating. And this is just the basics, so let me remind you, this isn't, I don't have my, game controller or headphones, no softwares or anything, well, except the softwares that do support the GTA 5 game that I have, and Steam, and Google Chrome, but that was it. There was nothing fancy, not my recording software, no, nothing, just that. And anyway, it was still kind of crashing eventually, so I looked over it one more time. I checked everything carefully, and it still was kind of crashing. So it's so I asked one of my friends on Steam, and I said, hey, my computer's crashing. I can't play my game, and I can't play my game because whenever I played a game, it would crash a lot quicker than if I just kind of left it or just watched a couple YouTube videos for about an hour or two, then it would eventually crash. So I told one of my friends my issue, and he said, actually, Windows 8 doesn't support games. And I'm like, so you think that? And we had a little conversation, and he said that if you want your games to work, then I recommend you upgrade to Windows 10, because Windows 10 works really well, and I actually do like Windows 10, so I was like thinking, okay then, because I was going to switch it to Windows 10 eventually, but like I said, I didn't want to, mess anything up or anything. I didn't want to, like, as soon as the guy fixed the computer and got it to Windows 8, which is kind of fine, even though I don't like Windows 8, and I'm sure no one does. I decided just to keep it at basics. I didn't want to install Windows 10 and have something happen if I have me be stuck on Windows 10 and I can't go back to Windows 8 or whatever. So anyway, I went to install Windows 10. I went to the Microsoft website. So I was like thinking, okay, maybe it's just Windows 8 that's causing my game issue, because literally I kind of looked everywhere. I looked at the displays. I checked everything, make sure everything was plugged in all the way, make sure nothing was overheating, and it was none of that. Make sure the RAM wasn't overheating, and it wasn't any of that. So I went to Windows 10, tried to install that, and I couldn't get Windows 10 for some reason. It would like go up to, and I'm still having this issue to this day, but anyway, I went to install it, and it was installing, and it would just stop at like 87%. And then it would go back to previous versions. Excuse me. Oh, God. This is a polite video. So, anyway, it went back to Windows 8 again, and eventually I did figure out, finally, how to get Windows 10. I had to do it off of an old copy of Windows 10, because I couldn't get it. Well, actually, I did eventually, but it didn't work out very well. Eventually, I finally did get it to work on Windows 10, but there were like several updates. There's like 17 updates that I was trying to get me to install, and I was trying to get them to install myself, because I don't like to, like I said, I don't like to use outdated computers. So anyway, I went to install them, and most of them failed, and it was trying for me to install the Creators Edition, which is the new one of the another big massive updates that Microsoft released to the public for another Windows 10 update, and I couldn't upgrade it for some reason. I don't know really why, but eventually there was some code that popped up there. There's always a code that popped up there, and so I looked at the code, I researched it, and a lot of people said that it's usually this or this or this, it's this. So I looked everywhere on YouTube, and I swear to God, man, no one had like the answers for it, unless they did, and it just either didn't make sense or it was too, it was just kind of complicated. So it's like, okay. So I looked at the graphics card, I tried to, update all my drivers, and that didn't work. So I was thinking, okay, so maybe my PC's outdated because my drivers are outdated, right? That would make sense, but I couldn't, and I looked at the device manager and tried to update them, and it said there weren't any updates. If there are, please visit, please visit the website. I'm like thinking, okay, what website? And I didn't really know where to go, and I didn't want to just go random in case I installed a virus trying to update one of my drivers here. So anyway, long story short, eventually I finally did manage to get Windows 10. I had to get it off of an old copy that my dad eventually found on eBay and ordered it. So eventually I installed it, and I got Windows 10, but it's back to its early days, like back when it first came out, not really recent, back when it like first came out and everything. It was just kind of, like basic. There was still some fancy features, but there wasn't like the apps. When you go to the settings, there wasn't like the apps click on, or the gaming click on, or anything. It just had the basics as it usually was. So anyway, it worked fine, but I looked over and it said I need to install all the other updates I was trying to get before, except for one, the Creators Edition. So I tried to, the Creators Update, excuse me. So I tried to install that, and it stopped at the exact same percentage that it did before when I tried to get Windows 10 before earlier. And I was like thinking, okay then. And so I was looking over to see, okay, how do I update my drivers? Because maybe that's it. So I went ahead and I updated my drivers, and I couldn't update my drivers for some reason. And eventually at some point I figured it out, eventually I finally did update my drivers using Driver Booster Pro 4, if you know what that is. But anyway, eventually it did update all the way, and I tried again thinking, okay, maybe I'm grand because everything is up to date. I have the latest drivers, and it still crashed. And it still crashed, and I'm still stuck at this problem. So I'm not really too sure what the issue really is at the moment. I'm not really too sure exactly what it is. I'm thinking of maybe bringing my PC over to a computer store like PC Laptops or whatever, and asking them to see what may be the cause of the computer crashing, every once in a while, or when I try to update the newest update to Windows 10, it kind of crashed on over, and I still not really too sure what it is. So anyway, that's pretty much all I have to really say for this story here, because yeah, it's been a mess lately. It's been kind of a mess back and forth, but it is running a lot better than it was. But still, I'm not gonna use it because it's outdated, and like I said, I don't feel comfortable using a computer that's outdated with outdated security and everything, because my computer can probably be easily hacked by now. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have to really say. I'm gonna continue to use this laptop here. I'm gonna continue on to use this computer here so that can move forward on with this channel, because I'm still gonna make YouTube videos for you guys and everything, and just gonna continue on. What the heck? What the hell is that? Oh, that was a piece of hail. What the hell is there a hail on my computer? I don't know. Sorry about that. There was a little teeny piece of hail on my screen over there for a second. Wasn't sure it was a crack or what, but anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Like I said, I know I rambled a lot, and I'm sorry for you guys being bored and everything. I know I rambled a lot and rambled. Oh gosh, I'm tired. Rambled. Sounds like I'm saying Rambo almost or something. The big 1980s buff guy with the freaking machine guns or whatever. But anyway, like I said, that's pretty much it for this video. I'm sorry for rambling too much. But yeah, I'm not really too sure what's going on with my PC. Hopefully I'll figure it out. I'm still gonna dig in, figure out what's been going on with my computer, see if I can fix it. But for now, I'm just gonna use this computer. It may take me a day or two to actually get back, before I actually make videos, because I'm just gonna continue trying to see what's wrong with my PC. If you guys have any suggestions or ran into this problem before I know how to fix it, please let me know, because I really don't know what else to do. I looked to see if my computer was hacked. It wasn't. I looked to see if my computer was infected or anything. It wasn't. I looked to see if it was overheating. It wasn't. I tried to update my drivers and I couldn't, and eventually I finally did update my drivers, and so yeah. I'm not really too sure if it's just the settings or anything, or if it's just something simple or what. But if you guys have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments below. I would really appreciate it if you guys had this problem before, because it seems like a lot of people have this weird common theme before. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. That's all I have to really say for it. I don't want to ramble anymore too much on this video, because I don't want to bore you guys. I don't want to just make a long conversation video of me just rambling too much. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this video today for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna continue to use this laptop, and hopefully I can figure out what's wrong with my computer, and hopefully I can get it up to date so that we can get it rolling. But anyway, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all sooner or later. Bye bye.